$54,000 selling 2 AI apps while only working 5 hours a month. Yes, this does mean that in the last 6 months, I have been earning $2,300 an hour after all costs. That's nuts, I know. The crazy part is one of these apps is a private sale, meaning it cannot be found anywhere on the internet, while the other one is ranked #1 on Google. In this video, I'll break down exactly how I'm getting paid $2,300 an hour with just 2 AI apps while barely working, so you can do the exact same and copy my success. By the way, there's no shame in copying. I mean, I want you to have this sort of success in the AI space. I want you to copy my success so you can be financially free, happy, and work from anywhere. All right, so $54,000 in 6 months. How on earth did I did it? We have one app right here. Then the first 6 months of this year, it's made about 44.6 grand. And the other one made about 10.1 grand, right? For the total of like 54.7K. This is how one day can look like when you have apps that are making you recurring revenue, right? This agent right here, and I'll use agent and app interchangeably because both of these apps are just agents that automate some sort of task, right? This one right here made $1,200 in one day, and this was actually yesterday. Today is the 16th. On the 15th, it made $1,200. which is absolutely crazy. So we're gonna break down app 1 first. Right here, $44,000 for 6 months. And again, this is how one day can potentially look like with your AI app. Now, how on earth did I get that first sale, right? Because the first sale is usually the hardest one. Well, I use Reddit. Reddit is one of the most slept on platforms ever in the AI and tech space. And you can get so many clients off of Reddit if you just know how to use it. See, I made one post about this other AI agent I made like super long ago that helped a tow truck guy get more tow truck jobs, right? And I made $1,000 through it. I wrote a whole description about that story and I uploaded it on the R Entrepreneur thread on Reddit. It got 221,000 views. All right, 221,000 people saw this. And this subreddit, R Entrepreneur, has about 4.2 million members, meaning a ton of people, right, are in that subreddit. So even if you get like a fraction of that, you're getting hundreds of thousands of views. And hundreds of thousands of views means people will DM you, people will comment, and people will want to work with you, right? They now know that I have this skill of automation. That's all I'm advertising. I'm not trying to sell my tow truck agent to anyone here, right? I don't even know how many tow truck guys are on this subreddit, but I know that there's business owners and I know that they need automation. So I'm gonna prove to them that I can automate. And from there, I got a person to DM me asking me to build an automation for them that would help them book shifts at work, okay? So the next stage was building the app. The back end, I use code, right? And now, you have a Claude Code and Cursor. Coding is super easy. You can build a ton of different apps with under like 200 lines of code, right? Especially in the automation space. And that's what my project was. This is just one function. This is like the hardest looking function. I know it looks a little bit like gibberish, but I'll be honest, Cursor did this. Cursor AI was what I used to write a lot of the code for this. So it was very successful, right? And the front end, I use Bolt, which is a AI app builder platform for mobile apps. It uses React Native, which is a very popular coding language, again, for mobile apps. Was able to blend the two, used code for the back end, and then used AI for the front end. They coincided perfectly. They work together perfectly. Now, I know when you see this, you're probably like, oh my God, I can't code. I'm done. I'm out of this, right? That's horrible. Okay, you barely need to know how to code in the automation space to create some very powerful agents. In fact, if you're able to learn very beginner, basic level of coding, you're already separating yourself from everyone else who's trying to create AI apps or AI automations. You're already separating yourself. So think about it. How many people are there in the world that need automation? Billions. How many people actually know how to build automations? Maybe like max a couple 100,000. How many of those people only rely on no-code tools? Like 80%. So if you want to be in the top 20%, you just have to learn a little bit of coding and you can let AI do the rest, right? And that's what I did to build this app. Now, the next point is market validation. How on earth did I even prove that, hey, this app can be used by multiple people? Now, the cool part is, I already have a existing client, right? The client came to me, asked me to build it, so I built it. Now, one thing to realize is that your client has friends, right? Your client will always have friends, and your client will most likely have friends in the existing space that he is in or she is in, right? And because this is a private sell, I don't have a landing page, and I don't have a ton of like ads or I'm not using like YouTube or personal brand to get a ton of users on my app. No, it's a private sell. Now, the difference between a private sell and a public sell, right? Like a public app, you have the landing page. It's plastered all over social media, right? So you can get a lot of users very quickly. But for private sells, you really can't. Luckily, with private sells, one user can equate to $600 a month. Like for my specific AI app, I literally have, originally I only had one user, right? And he was paying me $600 a month. And my goal was only 5 users, because with just 5 users, I'll be bringing in $3,000 a month, like passively every single month. That is absolutely nuts. And that's why private sales can be so great, because I don't have to rely on having hundreds of users just to make $2,000 MRR. For $2,000 MRR, I would only need about 4 users, right? So again, my goal was 5 users, and I already knew that one person wanted it, so I'm sure his friends wanted it too, right? And that's when it started to become a problem of not do people want it, but how can I find the people who want it? Because I know they do. And that's where I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is extremely powerful when you know the exact type of person that will use your product, especially for private sales. So, for example, in this picture right here, you can pick which company someone's at. You can pick the company headcount, right? You can pick the company headquarters. You can look for the job title. Are they a CEO? Are they a server? Are they a waitress? Are they a software engineer? Are they a mechanical engineer? You can look at everything that a person's biography contains, right? You can look at their user experience. You can see, are they someone who is new to the industry? Are they someone who's been there for a long time? Depending on your solution, right? Whatever app or agent you create, you might want to target people who have been in the industry for a while, right? Who maybe have seen or gone through a bunch of struggles in their industry, right? Someone who's new to the industry might not know that, oh, this automation will help me a lot. But someone who's been in the industry would know the value of it, right? So you can do a ton of different filtering. Personally, I spammed LinkedIn Sales Navigator's free trial. Like I hate spending money on marketing. I'm a big proponent of zero cost marketing. I don't believe that you need to spend a lot of money to make a lot of money, right? If you can just harness the free trials of powerful tools, you can scale quickly. Platforms like N8N have good 14-day free trials. LinkedIn Sales Navigator has a 30-day free trial. In the LinkedIn Sales Navigator free trial, you get 50 in-mail credits, which is all that I needed. Now, for those of you who don't know, an in-mail is basically when you can message someone on LinkedIn without them having to connect with you. So if I want to message Mark Cuban, I could message Mark Cuban, right, with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And that's what makes it so great, because now you don't need to connect with your potential clients. You can just directly DM them and turn them into a client, right? You don't need to build some past relationship with them. So when I was using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I literally used up all 50 messages within 2 hours, because I was like, if they're giving me 50 messages and I've found the exact people I'm looking for, I'm just going to blast all 50 messages. Why wait? Like, why would I wait to do this? I'm trying to scale quick. I'm trying to make money now, right? So I got about 15 responses out of the 50 different people I messaged. And of those 15, I got 7 to 8 closes. So remember, my goal was just 5 users. I surpassed that, right? And my revenue increased to about $4,005 a month from what it was before, $600 a month, right? And then from there, I was able to use what Alex Hormozi, a very popular entrepreneur, teaches, which is, upselling, downselling, referral systems. And what I did was, once I hit that 4.5K to 5K MRR mark, I knew, okay, how can I increase my revenue even further? I used all 50 of my in-mail credits. I'm not trying to pay money. Even though I was making about $5,000 a month, I was still so cheap that I did not want to even spend money on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which in retrospect, I should have spent the money. I mean, I could have scaled even quicker, right? I was just being cheap, to be honest, and that's why you shouldn't be cheap. But it worked out, and you can be cheap to an extent, right? But after a while, if you really want to scale and get serious, you do have to spend some money, right? And that's what I did. right? Later on. But to get to the 9K a month mark that, you see right here, which is how I got to this, right? On and off, of course. I launched this referral offer where I told all my current customers, you get $100 off your next month if you refer a friend, and your friend will also get $100 off. This is enough for someone who also has friends in the space to go to them and be like, hey bro, I got a great deal for both of us. And that's how you find pairs of clients, right? Clients come in pairs sometimes. People don't realize that. They can come in pairs, trios, quadruplets, right? You want to get that entire group. You don't just want one client and that's it. That client can most likely get you another client if you just present them the right offer, right? Which is what I did. And again, with private sales, you don't need a ton of clientele because you can literally charge $600, $700 a month, while regular SaaSes, which we will go over in the next AI app, you can only charge like $50 a month, $70 a month, maybe for enterprise like $180 a month, right? So there's a limit to it. Now, with all this being said, you're probably wondering, okay, you have so many clients, you have this app that you've built, that you probably maintain. How on earth are you only working like under 5 hours a month on this and still able to bring in $7,000 to $9,000 a month? Very good question. That's where we go into buying back our time. So this is how I bought back my time. And what I mean by buying back time is basically when you pay someone to do a task that you would normally do. So that way you have more freed up time to do another task or something else, right? So I added 2 new hires to my team for this app that I built. One was a maintenance developer, where I would give him a small percentage of profit, right? Not revenue. So if there's any other cost, like the customer support agent, he wouldn't get any percentage of the revenue that wasn't profit, right? And all he had to do was work on minor updates and any algorithm changes that results in the app not working as good as it used to, right? So he would just every month just do a couple of checks, a couple of updates if needed, and he would get a very small percentage of profit, right? And he was happy, I was happy, everything was good. The next big thing was handling customer questions. I'll get a lot of customer questions sometimes, especially if the app was like not working or there's a bug. And while it didn't take up too much of my time, it still took up time. So even 2 hours a week is too much for me, right? So I hired a customer support agent, paid him $100 a month only, right? And he handles customer questions and he onboards new customers. What more can I ask for, right? From this $100 a month payment, I freed up like 8 hours across a month, right? 2 hours a week, 4 weeks. I freed up 8 hours of my time, in a month, which is like one full working day. In that whole working day, I can build another app. You guys have seen my previous videos where I've created apps in like under 10 hours. That's why you got to buy back your time, And now, right, I spend under 2 hours a month on this app, right? My duties consist of deciding on any new updates, right? If I'm like, I want to change the look of my app, I want to change the entire UI, then that's something that I would decide on, right? And I do have like a weekly check-in with the developer as well as the support agent to make sure everything is good, everything is smooth. A weekly check-in can be like just a text message on Discord or iMessage. So very, very, easy. Now we go into my public app, right? This is the traditional apps that you usually see on YouTube and social media, right? First 6 months of this year, it brought about 10.1K, right? One thing you probably notice is these failed payment rates. You're like, hey, why are there so many failed payments? Usually what's happening with my tool, I think I have the Stripe misconfigured. It would charge a card after someone canceled, but it would automatically cancel the payment, right? So it'd be like a failed payment. I think that's what's happening. If you know better, feel free to comment because I don't know why this is the case, right? Now, how do I get the first sale for this? Well, I have a website for this. Like I said, again, this is a very public app, right? You can go to the website, instadm.ai, and people will go to this page, right? They can either book a meeting with me or they can just automatically buy the product at the bottom, right? So the user can visit the website, right? And the user can book a meeting with me using the book a meeting button, right? Again, user can buy the website directly. So this is how that looks like. Quick and easy way. A user can come here and they can buy. If they're logged in, they can click. There'll be a buy now button right here, which they can click. They can subscribe to their pro plan, and boom, now they're paying me $60 a month, and it's all good, right? Enterprise plan 130, starter plan $30 a month. I don't have to do anything, right? They just go to the website, buy the product, everything is smooth, no time is taken out of my hands. Then you have the bottleneck when they actually book a meeting with me, which means that they want to talk to me, probably ask me questions about the app first, and then they'll be more than willing to actually, purchase the app. Now, this most likely results in a for sure buy, because someone's willing to hop on a meeting with you, talk about the app. They're probably highly interested. So this will result in most likely having users. But if I want 10 users, does that mean I have to hop in 10 meetings? Maybe I'm just being lazy, right? But I'd rather have someone else do it so I can work on something else in the business, right? This is why this can be a bottleneck. If you're hopping in meetings every single day, you're losing out time. Even if a meeting is just 15 minutes, 10 meetings a day is nearly 2.5 hours of your time that can be spent on something else, right? So this is where we got to break down the bottleneck. Now, this is how I break down my bottleneck with this. I have a Calendly form, and on this form, I ask the user's name, their email, where they're located. I ask them their current MRR, so their monthly revenue. I ask them what they're looking to use Instant DM for, and what's their monthly budget, right? This way I can get a good idea of whoever is on the other side of that call, right? For example, the location. Are they from a cheaper region? If I know they're from India, or let's say a continent like Africa, right, or any other like countries in Africa or India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, where people I know over there, they're from like a cheaper area because like the currency is different. The dollar is too strong against like the rupee or like, so for example, like yen, right, in Japan. So as a result, the chances of them being able to spend a lot of money on this is not too high, right? So I need to know that. Then to be more specific, I check out the MRR, right? How rich is this client? Let's be honest. How much money does this client have? Because if they have enough money to, let's say they're making like 3K to 10K, or especially 10K to 30K, I know that, yes, they can definitely buy my product. I mean, our product is what? Like the max is $130 a month on like the enterprise plan. Come on, right? That's nothing for someone who's making 10 to 30K a month, right? So can I upsell them on something bigger? I run an AI transformation business where I help businesses automate all their tasks, train their employees, everything, right? So can I upsell them on a greater offer, right? So by just having this information about the business, I could potentially retarget them for my future business ventures, right? Then also look at the budget. Is this company willing to spend, or are they cheap? Because you can have a company that's making like 30K a month and they're super cheap, where they don't want to spend any money on outreach, right? If they don't want to spend money on outreach and they're only putting $0 to $1,000 a month, I'm not going to pitch them, hey, hop on the enterprise plan, right? I might just pitch them, hop on the pro plan, right? So I like to know how much the company's willing to spend. Usually I still try to get them on the enterprise plan if they have high MRR. But if they have a low MRR and a low monthly budget, there's someone I'm like, I probably don't want to waste my time talking to, because the chance of them buying, they're going to ask a lot of questions. They're going to try nickel and dime. I really don't want to deal with that. I'd rather have someone else deal with it. Wink, wink, right? And then, of course, I check their name, phone, and email for hyper-targeted marketing. Like I said, if I find someone with very high MRR, I can always retarget them later on, right? By having their email, their phone, hitting them up saying, hey, do you want AI consulting? Or do you want an AI agent worth like $5,000? Because I know they have the money to spend for that, right? And that's part of how I'm breaking down my bottleneck. Now, the actual breaking down is right here. If the client has low MRR, their monthly revenue is very low, let's say under $10,000, I like to have my new hire handle it. My new hire is a closer, right? And it's an example where he got 1 user on the enterprise plan, 2 users on starter plan, and 1 user from the June month repurchase monthly pro plan, July and August as well. So he's basically saying that he's gotten 4 to 5 users on this app, right? Which results in probably about like $400 a month in added revenue, right? Which is pretty solid. This is like a slower month anyways, right? So the new hire, handles this work, and then his responsibilities, right, as a closer is he's handling closing calls with customers and he gets them to buy, right? He also handles onboarding the customer. So once they buy, he wants to make sure the customer has a very good experience in using the app. They know how to use the app. They know where to find the help resources, the support channels, right? They understand everything about it, right? And he also reports to me if there's a customer with potential to upsell. So all the meeting notifications go to him. And if he sees that, hey, one of the clients has like a 30K MRR, or some very high monthly revenue, right? Then I'll handle it, okay? Because I know I can strike bigger deals than just Instagram outreach with these companies. Like I said, it could be AI agent deal, AI consulting deals. I know I can just do much more, right? And this is where I spend the 2 to 3 hours a month on this app now, is I just handle the big boy calls, right? If there's a big boy call, Mr. Big Boy is gonna be there, okay? And that's where I'm spending most of my time on this. I spend more time on this app than right here, simply because of these closing calls where the client has a very high MRR, right? Now, marketing this app was actually a pure accident. I made a whole video on this as well. But just to recap, we're #1 ranked on Google if you search up Instagram Mass DM, which is insane, right? This app helps users do a bunch of Instagram outreach, right? And we're ranked #1 on Google for that. That's not sponsored. These are all sponsored, which is why they're ahead of us, but we're not sponsored and we're ranked 1. So we get a ton of lead flow coming from Google search, right, to our app, which makes things amazing, right? And we have a 600 plus member Discord with a support staff. So this is another part of the new hires, right, where you can see right here, users will open up tickets asking for help, right? And I kind of explain how to open a ticket, and we have all these tickets right here. And then we have Abdeen, who's gonna actually help service these people and respond to any of their questions, which is great. Right, this is an offshore person, so obviously the labor isn't too expensive. And yeah, it's a very easy, no time taken up out of my day to run this app, aside from the big meetings. I have one last surprise for you. Yes, I work under 5 hours a month combined on these 2 AI apps, and I'm still able to bring in deep 5 figures and take home profit. But I know you're probably like, cool, man, good for you. This won't work for me. Wrong. This will, and here's why. You no longer have to keep watching YouTube videos to learn how to build and sell AI automations. I will work with you one-on-one and personally guide you to earning at least $3,000 a month selling AI automations and apps without having to work multiple hours every single day. Because come on, we're lazy. So if you want to work one-on-one with me, click the first link in the description below.